Inbox Protect session. This is something that we're quite excited about, and something we've been looking to add for a while. And Gavin and his team are the ones who've actually developed it. So Gavin will be talking during this presentation about the nuts and bolts of this, and he's the ones who'll be answering all the questions. Myself and Tim here are just here for the eye candy. So listen, just to give you, again, obviously you know who we are, you're all existing customers, but it's just to sort of see now, like, Rianka's done this wonderful new graphic for us. I thought it encapsulates all the things we do for you. You might not use all of these services with us, but we're now a fully, I suppose, end-to-end email security provider. From your gateway service, using our service with enhanced phishing protection, URL protection, the continuity, attachment sandboxing, and a myriad of other features, then into whatever you're using. 99% of you are using 365. I think nearly everybody on this call is a 365 customer. There might be one Exchange, perhaps, but maybe a couple, but most of you are 365. And this is where our new product comes in. 365 Inbox Protect. And this came about because we were looking at, like, obviously we look at your internal, the inbound mail, outbound mail, helping with all those kind of things. But inbound threat we saw as something that was actually starting to happen, whether it be inadvertent or malicious, like intentional internal issues, but also after the fact stuff. So even though today is about internal mail mostly, because we're doing your gateway stuff, Gavin also mentioned, don't forget to mention that we're also checking all mail that comes in. So say something that we've checked on the way through at the gateway and it lands in your inbox, and then subsequently something that is weaponized after the fact, then once we know about that in the threat landscape, that it's a known threat, we will then remediate that as well. So it's not just internal mail, it's also external mail that has since changed its purpose and is now malicious or spam or phishing or ransomware or whatever. So that's another interesting thing to actually bear in mind as well. It's kind of like 0-day threat protection. And then obviously we've got other things we do, like email archiving, managed phishing awareness, enhanced TLS, outbound checking, and our managed DMARC service, and our breach detect, where we keep an eye on all your data on the dark web. So as you can see, we're now fully end-to-end, and we're always looking to add added value to you guys and added services and extra protection, because this is like a never-ending kind of threat landscape, and email is still the main vector of attack for all. Oh, here we go again. This is great for this. This happened earlier, but I've got through it now. So yeah, so Inbox Protect, it protects your organization with the 0-day threats by scanning the 365 internal mail, but also, like I said, it's also checking the mail that's coming externally as well, again, see if anything's happened to that. Because we all know that, like, despite all the other threats that are out there and all the wonderful other tools you have for protecting yourself, email is still responsible for 9 out of the 10 security breaches. So it's still the main vector of attack, and will be going forward. In fact, I think someone said it's up to about 93% now, the latest stats from the FBI, I think someone mentioned to me yesterday. So it's not going away. So this service does internal box scanning, very similar to what the gateway does, similar technologies, similar methodologies. Immediate remediation, again, what Gavin will take you through that, what it actually does and how it does it. Proactive monitoring, it's always scanning, so it's always looking to see has anything changed, both on the threat landscape and then, like, looking into your own inboxes and subfolders to make sure that there's nothing there that's now compromised. Eliminating the threats from within, whether it be deliberate or inadvertent. I mean, one of the examples we had was around fantasy football, actually, that someone got hit by. Like, so they had internal email, like, you know, going between a lot of the guys and girls in the organization, you know, doing fantasy football. They copied a link from the web and actually put that in an email and sent it around, and it was actually dodgy. Now, in this instance, our system would have actually picked that up, that internal email with a link that was actually malicious, and actually dealt with it immediately, because that wasn't coming from an external source. So again, these are the kind of things it picks up. And also for you guys as well, the quarantine area is the same, and we'll show you that again later, an example of that. So you don't have to go looking for a different place to see where things are quarantined. So it's the same place as the gateway service, same portal, same everything. So it's just an addition to the existing service. And Gavin's now going to take you through the kind of the workflow as to how the use case as to how this works, and then some of the details of how to configure it and what it's doing, etc. So over to you, Gavin.
Thanks, Niall. Okay, so just to I suppose give you a bit of a description first. Basically, Inbox Protect is capable of connecting directly to the user mailboxes and replicating very similar scans to the scans that we do through the gateway. And as you can see here, every time a mail lands in a user's mailbox, once it's authorized with Microsoft, Microsoft will alert us that an email has arrived. That then prompts our system to go in, to look at the email, to perform all of our scans through dedicated stack, and based on the results then take an action or ignore the email. This all typically happens in milliseconds once a mail arrives. So a user might have mail accounts on their PC, their laptop, their phone. As soon as it arrives in, this prompt happens, the scans take place on internal email. The way that it differentiates internal from external is it looks at the domain within the Microsoft tenant, and it takes that domain, it takes a record, and it basically looks for mails sent to that domain. So it can differentiate the two. That being said, though, there are occasions, as Niall mentioned, where Inbox Protect may take an action on mails that weren't necessarily internal. And I'll explain that in a moment. Inbox Protect checks if the mail matches the account on the domain to determine if the mail is internal or external. If the mail is internal, it is passed through the Topsec security scans. This includes virus, spam scanning, sandboxing, cross-checks against known risks. If it fails the check, it will put the mail into quarantine on our side, which is very, very similar, excuse me, very, very similar to our traditional quarantine. And it will remove access to that email for the user on the user side. So they'll no longer see the mail, it will simply disappear from the account. Once that's done, the mail is either gone, or if it's a safe email, it'll just stay as it is. As I said, this happens very quickly, and that's kind of the process, really. Additionally, there's something that we've developed, which we've called the URL Analyzer. What this does is this takes the URLs that we see coming through our system, and it scans those URLs, and it looks at the redirects of the URLs, and it goes 5 layers deep. We do this when mails arrive, and if we find something that is in any way dangerous or malicious, we effectively can look at all of the mails across Inbox Protect and remove those mails that have that link from the account and quarantine them. Additionally, we do a second scan then later on in the day of the same URLs. So if a mail that is safe now comes through and then later on in the day becomes dangerous, it can do the same thing for both internal and external email. This is the part where it really becomes a retrospective protection, and it's more powerful, if you like, from this respect. Do you want to pop over to the next slide there, of course? So to add Inbox Protect, we simply need the tenant ID from the Azure account that's being added. As you can see there, when you log into your dashboard, you should be able to see the tenant ID. We just need a copy of that. We add that then to our platform on our side. And then if you pop over to the next slide, please. Once we've added the tenant ID and you log into the portal, under Settings in Office 365, you'll see the ID that we've added and an authorization button. So here, basically, when we click this, what this is doing is it's asking for the user to log into the Microsoft account that's connected to that tenant ID and authorize the permissions for us to interact with the inbox. If you pop over to the next one, this is the window that you'll see. It just simply asks for various different permissions and then an accept button. Once the accept button is clicked, Inbox Protect will immediately begin to scan the mailboxes under that tenant. So it gets up and running very, very quickly. And then is there another one after that? There. So once it's up and running, within our quarantine area, you will then see this new column, detected by. Within here, it basically breaks down whether the mail that's been quarantined was captured by our traditional mail delivery scan or Inbox Protect. And it'll just highlight. That's also organizable by which service called the email. So it's it's blended in very easily, and it should be very familiar to you if you're already using our quarantine area. Nothing really changes, and mails, just as before, can be released from there if needs be. I think this.
And then it's back over to
you there.
I suppose very quickly, the benefits of that are it's bundle functionality. It like takes minutes to actually add this protection to your 365 inbox. Basically that means then your internal mail and everything in your inbox estate is getting the latest threat intelligence put across it all the time and being checked. So you've got the internal external protection. Like say, it's easily set up in minutes. Shares the quarantine interface. So again, from a learning perspective, there's nothing really to learn here. It's actually identical to what you're doing now. It's just added an extra bit of functionality. Similar scanning, like we said, the same similar engine, same functionality the guys have, and immediate remediation. You don't have to do anything. You can look at the reporting and actually see what it's done in the quarantine reports and that kind of thing. But this will do it in, like you said, in milliseconds. So it's very, very simple to use, very quick to use, and like really adds a lot of value to your protection. So that's a very, very quick overview. And so what we'll do now, Rianka, if you could open it up, and what we will do is we can take a few questions for people who might want to drill into some more detail on this. So away you go, people. Don't all stampede at once. Oh, Melissa's there first. Off you go, Melissa.
Okay. You probably know what I'm going to ask first, and that's it. Does it work at all with Exchange on premise?
Yes, hear anything there? Can put any volume on that. Oh, sorry. Maybe it's on our side. Sorry, Melissa. No, it's okay. I'm not hearing anything here.
See you have to interact with. There you go.
Can you hear me?
The volume.
Oh, yeah. What is on?
Just
Oh, sorry, Melissa. Apologies. Our volume was actually down here.
Oh, okay.
There you go. We can
sorry, now we can hear you. Apologies, everyone. So now, please go ahead. Yeah.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now, yeah.
Right, sorry. Yeah, I was just saying you probably know what I'm going to ask first, and that's, does it interact at all with on-premise Exchange?
No, it doesn't.
No? Okay.
This is purely for
G Suite, it only works with Microsoft 365.
Okay, grand. And from the user experience, does the user get a notification if an email is quarantined? Say, for instance, it's as you described a scenario where initially it passes the scan, but later on the day it fails and it gets quarantined. So does it just simply disappear from the user's mail inbox?
At the moment, it does simply disappear. And it is something that we've considered. We just felt that rather than give notifications about things that potentially are dangerous, we give notifications if things are restored. But that is something that we're always looking at, and we could quite easily flip around if we needed to.
Yeah, if people need this functionality, we could add this. It's not a big deal. At the moment, it doesn't. do that. Now, you obviously, as an admin, you can see that. You can see what happened.
Yeah. Okay. And just my last question is about the pricing. Is it priced per mailbox?
Yes. Yeah. So it's an addition per mailbox. Exactly. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, guys.
That's great.
Thanks, Melissa.
Thanks, Melissa.
It looks great, by the way. Looks good.
Thanks.
Thanks, Melissa.
Anybody else?
We just have one question from Sean, and he's asking, does the product scan every email in every mailbox every day, or does it scan just the last number of days?
So when the mailbox is first switched on, the mailbox will go back 14 days into the history of the mailbox and scan to catch up. And then from there on in, it will scan all mails every day.
Does that help?
Gavin, sorry, could you just explain that again? So it'll scan 14 days to catch up, but then it will scan every day, because
Yes.
maybe the weaponization mightn't happen for a number of weeks. Just explain that again, sorry.
So when it's initially switched on, the Inbox Protect will scan all mails in all folders for the last 14 days retrospectively, and then from that point on, it will scan in real time. So it will always have a limitation of 2 weeks to go back. That's the limitation set by Microsoft. But when it's initially switched on, it has a 2-week window where it will scan all of the old mail up to 2 weeks, and then from there on in, it will be a real time scanning.
Is that okay, Sean?
Yeah, still, yeah. I know real-time scanning, but like, you know, is that just daily real-time scanning? Because could the weaponize, and maybe I'm missing a point here, maybe can it not be weaponized maybe a week later then again after an initial scan's done?
Sure. So the mails, as the mails are coming in real time, they will be scanned straight away as they come in. And then there's various different things. For example, like the URL analysis will be scanned in real time, but it also gets scanned a second time in the evening to see if it's become weaponized. We are looking to expand that, and we are looking to add other features down the line that will do more retrospective scanning of various types. At the moment, we're focused on the URLs because they're the ones that are more commonly weaponized after the fact.
No, very good. Yeah, that's fine.
Very
Good,
good.
Sean.
Anybody else?
Don't be shy, people.
It's only Tim and myself.
I know, like, there's not a lot of questions. It looks very easy to implement. I know we spoke already, Niall, about it. So I suppose today was we haven't acted on it till we had today's session. Suppose you didn't alert us to the price there, so no doubt we'll hear from you after today's session.
Exactly. Yeah. You won't be falling off your chair. Don't worry. We're not.
You always tell me that. Yeah.
No, and that was the whole point of doing it. We wanted to make it really simple, and make it easy to implement and easy to manage. And so, like for existing customers, it's absorbed into the console. There's nothing new to learn. It's all there, So it makes things literally. It can be turned on within minutes.
Yeah.
And it adds that extra layer of protection again for the internal stuff that was a hole at the moment, like for a lot of people, and people are starting to get worried about.
Yeah, I mean internal mail scanning as a traditional gateway product, we obviously couldn't look at your internal email, so we've rectified that now essentially by adding this product, being able to API in and look at that lateral flow of email, as well as having a secondary look at the external email coming in through ourselves and Microsoft. So it's all about layers. It's all about covering off those gaps.
And if there are features you're looking for, Gavin's the man. So I mean, because it's our own service. I mean, if there's interesting ideas or angles to this that you want to add, again, we're always welcome to hear ideas as to how we can improve it and make it better. Oh, Melissa's got her hand up again. Yeah, please, Melissa, talk away.
Yeah, sorry, me again. Just wondering, is there any possibility that it could slow down performance for users?
We've had it on here ourselves. We haven't seen any. It doesn't change any really speed in performance. When the mail arrives and it goes off to be scanned, it happens extremely quickly. You know, you're talking milliseconds, so it's very, very fast.
Okay, so unnoticeable.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Great.
I suppose, Niall, that brings on my next question. I suppose, is there a possibility of a trial for a couple of weeks to make sure that there's no, you know, degradation of performance rather than signing up right away or anything like that? Just to.
Yep, absolutely, no problem at all. Yeah, I mean, because it's also good to see how effective it is, and look at your reports to see what it's picked up, and it'll be interesting as well, actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, sure.
Because it's so easy to turn on and turn off. Like, you know, it's very straightforward. And what we'll do then, you know, after this is what we'll do. We'll send out a recording of this, and then if anyone is interested in doing a trial or having a look at it in more detail, you can have a dedicated session to those individuals and go through the commercials as well and all the rest of it. You know, so and make sure it makes sense for you.
Yep, ping us an email.
Yep. Myself, Gavin, or Tim are always available. So the technical stuff to them and commercial stuff to me. So anyone else? Anyone before we hang up? Because because I suppose there's not an awful lot. There's not a lot of moving parts because it's you know, because we have made it to be simple and to integrate to the existing service and be pretty much seamless for you guys. So I suppose, yeah, if you understand our gateway service, you understand this. Great. Well, listen, guys and girls, thanks for your time. And like I said, Rianka will be in touch with the details of with the link for this, so you can watch it again or pass it on to some of your colleagues. And again, reach out if you want any more information. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Mill.
Thanks.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.